The Denver Nuggets. The big question for the Nuggets is they lose KCP on a team that already we had real depth questions about. So Christian Brown is going into the starting lineup. Julian Strawther might have to play like real minutes. Can they kind of overcome? Okay, our big addition is Dario Saric and Russell Westbrook, two guys that Russ could play in the playoffs last year, like sneakily. Like he was okay, I thought, in the Clippers series against Dallas. I mean, not like at a super high level, but he can give Denver minutes, I think, for sure. Saric, like I didn't think by the end of the year could really give high level minutes. Deron Holmes is going to miss this year with the torn Achilles. Do they have enough depth to contend for the NBA title? If they are going to win the NBA title, which is their goal, they have the guy that I would consider the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. I'll hear arguments for guys like Giannis, Embiid to an extent, etc. But to me, it's still Jokic. Can they actually get the amount that they need from the depth pieces to win the title? And this is the question I'll ask you, Bryce. What does that look like from the depth players like Christian Brown, like Julian Strawther, Russ, Saric, etc.?
Yeah, so that's what same expectation. And my first bullet point here where the young guys are ready. That's how they get there. Is it's not that Jokic has another gear, or I mean, they need a good year from Jamal Murray. I know there's been a lot of talk about that, coming out of the playoffs and then the Olympics. Porter Jr., Gordon, it's the guys you mentioned. So to me, that looks like Christian Brown stepping into the starting lineup and shooting the three ball with some volume and being very good defensively. I think that's where he has to be really good, taking the defensive matchups on the perimeter. So Porter Jr. doesn't have to do those things. You don't have to give Aaron Gordon awkward matchups. He's able to protect, especially Murray and Michael Porter Jr. And then Strawther is really able to space the floor. I think one sneaky thing that is scary with this team is floor spacing. When you talk about the number of guys who are either not great shooters or haven't shown it on volume yet. So Strawther being able to do that. And then another one that we haven't mentioned yet is Peyton Watson. So to me, it's really these young guys being able to step into those roles and provide the value. And then the second part was, I don't know what it looks like, but Russ coming in worked, like that being a success, like the Russ idea here being successful, whether that's somehow playing off of Jokic and it making sense, or him just driving the second unit, even just if it's the regular season, and energy off the bench for this team.
So I know that you said that you're not totally sure what that looks like in terms of success, right? But like, that is an important thing to try and figure out. What does Russ success look like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Russ has always been, even like with the Clippers on some level, when he was on the court, it still was like a lot about Russ. Like he had a 25 usage rate last season with the Clippers. That is a very, very high number for what that Nuggets scheme tends to operate within, right? Like, you look at the guys who had like a 25 usage rate on the Nuggets last year. It was Jokic and it was Murray, and that was it. I'm a little bit hesitant to assume that Russ is going to be able to come in and eat that kind of usage. How does that, like, you kind of need Russ to play with Jokic on some level just to get the spacing, right? From like having the floor spacing big out there. It's a weird addition to me. It's not a bad one, because like I am curious to see how it goes. I think it has the potential to go well, using Russ as a cutter, using Russ as like an energy defender on some level. I also think it has a chance to go quite poorly, and I think the Denver would need to like be willing to like cut ties quickly if it goes poorly. But like, there is a chance that this goes well. What does it going well? I guess like I kind of explained what I think, but like for you, I know you said you don't know, but what does it explain?
I think it going well is Russ being that energy guy in the regular season when this team needs it. and we know he's always going to bring that. So he helps, like between him and Peyton Watson and the way Christian Brown play, like they drive energy into this team and help them win a few extra games they might not otherwise, just because a random game in February and again, I use the term the dog days of the season, they have more energy simply than their opponent. I think for it to work in the playoffs, he has to be able to play off of Jokic. Like, I think we have to see Russ as a cutter, or maybe in some interesting ball screens where he's the screener with Jokic and then short rolls and makes a play out of that or something. Like, I don't know. Like, can you find a way for him and Jokic to play together?
I
Because if
know that we're going way over on Denver now, but like in the playoffs, this is going to sound weird. I almost see Russ more as like a Gordon backup
yeah, sure,
than
sure.
anything else. Like I feel like the way
Yes.
that Russ will have to play in the playoffs for it to be successful is like, okay, I'm playing the same way Aaron Gordon does, like crash bang, defense, cutting, etc., but with like more ball skill, obviously. Does that like make Denver a better team? No, but like if he's a backup, it might. And it might like help eat minutes if Peyton Watson isn't ready or if Christian Brown's not ready. Like I think there's a world where this works. I don't want to crush it. I do think there are just a lot of questions because Russ is such a force of personality and like
Yes.
his game is such that when he's on the court, he's driving things in such a real way that there are potholes that they're going to have to get through, and it will play a big part in them potentially exceeding expectations.
Yeah, I agree. No, that was like, yeah, him kind of playing the Aaron Gordon-y role on offense, I think is a interesting way of it working.